Hello, welcome to Game 3 of my match against bobbydj. We are currently tied 1-1. Let's take a look at this kingdom. Save advance. We've got Bishop. Replace Necromancer for trashing. We do not appear to have any villages, so that's worth noting. Save can do quite a bit of work. Advance can potentially be pretty helpful. Looks like we're probably just going to win on provinces. So probably in the end, our terminal wants to be replace, and maybe we do some replace animal fare shenanigans where we get animal fares for cheap, trashing a cheap action, and then replace them into province. Then our Necromancer can play. The animal fare as well, which is a little cute. They open with a Poacher. What's the goal of Poachers? The goal of Poachers is to hit 5 quickly, right? They're going to open Poacher Silver. They're going to try to hit a replace early to replace their estates into advisors. That seems like a reasonable plan. I'm thinking about the Necromancer plan, where you're playing the zombies early on. Probably Zombie Mason early on, especially for Shuffle. And try to thin some stuff out that way, turn those silvers into turns those estates into dungeons, coppers into nothing. I do like the replacing estates, and probably you don't go advisors immediately, you go necromancers first anyways. Necromancer not going to be very good at hitting 5, so I would not get a replace very quickly. But I think Poacher. So is Poacher Dungeon very good at hitting 5? If you draw them both, you play the dungeon, you discard 2 estates, you play the Poacher, hopefully you have 5 coppers. So it seems like that line wants to be Poacher Silver. That just feels slower than like Necromancer Dungeon. So I'm feeling the Necromancer Dungeon open here. Not 100% sure on that. You can also do some save tricks to guarantee hitting 5 with Poacher stuff. Like you could, if you draw Poacher and 3 coppers, you can save Poacher, or you just draw it with 4 coppers and hit, which is decently likely, I suppose. And I assume this is just click on replace instantly. I'm kind of confused why they haven't done that. All right, so I've got 3 here. Pretty much no matter what I do, I'm going to trigger a shuffle. So I've got 3 coppers down there, 2 estates. So I'm going to go ahead and Mason here, not gain, and pick up another dungeon into that shuffle. Hopefully see that dungeon near the top here. Obviously, their best draw would be to immediately see the replace here on turn 4. But I assume this is just going to be Necromancer, Advisor, Poacher, one of those. Okay, so they bought a Necromancer. Okay. So bottom cards are both coppers. So I don't particularly want to trash a copper quite yet. What would I get? What would I buy if I trashed another copper? Just buy a silver now is a card that I need. I can also grab an Oracle as a stopgap terminal until I get replaced, knowing that I'm probably going to be drawing coppers that I'm discarding or cleaning up estates that I'm discarding with dungeon. I think I'm just going to buy a silver, though. I would like to eventually hit an estate with this Necromancer, but it seems like, given the draws that I have, that's never going to happen, as I'm starting with multiple estates in hand. But with the silver, I've got a decent chance of being able to hit 5 soon. We'll know, again, whether I can hit 5 after I play this. Okay. So the bottom 2 cards are my silver and my estate. So I can draw on, or I can trash and see what happens. I'm going to take the 50-50 trash, and if I trash the silver, I can just buy it back and gain another 4 cost. Okay, nice. So I can just buy another silver now, and go ahead and buy the Oracle. And hit 5 here, so I'll be able to buy and replace. And I will discard the replace every time. Yeah, Relic makes some sense. It's a decent attack. Discard 2. Yeah, I can play this Oracle and then just save if I draw like a copper action. That seems perfectly fine for me. And I can discard that for them. I can save a copper or an estate. Does it matter? I think I want to save a copper. Yeah, save a copper, buy a replace. Get some cycling going. Here I should be able to start replacing estates. This felt like it was a little bit slower than it needed to be, but I feel like I've added more. I don't know. I've thinned a couple of coppers, I guess, is my saving grace here. All right, so I want to try to hit my replace this turn, so I'm going to have to apprentice this Oracle. Okay, so I bottom decked my replace and my other dungeon. So I can just save this silver and start in on advisors. The dungeons should help smooth out the advisor stuff a little bit. I don't know, if I'd hit an estate earlier, I think I had a chance to get a little bit of a lead. They have both got 2 dungeons now. They've got a bunch more advisors than me. Relic is going to be slightly annoying. Discard 2 coppers. Play this. Discard. So Necromancer can now play the advisor. And I assume they'll discard my advisor here. I can trigger this shuffle because I have a dungeon coming in, but so we'll just grab some more advisors here. Continuing in the advisor stack. And most of the time we're just going to discard cantrips, except for the replace, which is the best card. Yeah, unfortunately they're going to get to play this dungeon, but I think we both have 3 advisors now. They have 2 dungeons, so in theory they can... in theory they can play them both this turn or only play 1 this turn, but they should be able to get back around to their replace. The extra pair of dungeons should make the advisor stack a little bit more palatable. And I guess they're going to win the advisor split 5-4, but there's 1 in the trash, so it's actually more like 6-5. And they're just going to be a little bit ahead here. Okay. I'll play this advisor first. And the bottom two cards should both be advisors. Oh. I misjudged something terribly. Okay. Well, nothing much to be done now. We save the silver and buy the last advisor. I thought I had more draw than that, but I guess the dungeon discarded 2 coppers into there. So I guess I know they're going to get to play their replace. They don't have great targets left for it, so I'll deny the draw and hope that they run enough draw. Okay, it doesn't look like it, as they still have a dungeon. Okay, yeah, I need to get Relic going. Okay, so discard 2 coppers. Play the advisors. Play this advisor. Okay, we should be able to get all the way back around. Okay, so the question is what I'm doing now. They did what? Copper into estate. That feels very lame to me in some respects. Not really sure. It just doesn't quite feel like that's what the current game state demands. I'm thinking about just going estate into Necromancer and buying my own relic, and then moving on from there. The extra Necromancer seems nice. I can even save a silver and start getting the attack up. Guess deny the dungeon. They should be out of draw cards. I still have the Poacher. I denied the Poacher. I denied Advisor. I denied Dungeon. Okay, I don't think this ends up working out in my favor, but I deny the Poacher. They play the Advisor. Yeah, they have more Advisors than I thought they did. I guess they can play the Necromancer as the Advisor. That was the card I wasn't counting. Make them put the Dungeon on the bottom, which is slightly annoying. Doesn't let them potentially seed shuffles or do things like that. But they want to get the Dungeon in play. Although the Poacher is now slightly annoying that we've emptied the Advisor pile. We still have enough money for the things we need to be doing. I'm really not... I guess they're just going to start provincing now. I'm not quite understanding what their plan is. Maybe it's just they've been slightly ahead for a while, so they're just going to grind. Play Advisor. Alright, so here we can play Zombie Spy. Leave that on top. Okay, so if I see advisor and replace, I'm not going to get to play the replace this turn, it looks like. Yeah. Alright, so we just save a silver and buy a province, and I think I'm just kind of dead in the water here. They just have a little bit of extra draw, and they seem to be fairly consistently drawing. They seem to be starting with a lot of draw cards in their hand, or if I'm going crazy, because seemingly like 4 or 5 of their starting draw cards seem to be advisors, dungeons, like only 2 of these were actually revealed by me. So they had to start with like 3 or 4 of them together. I guess the Poacher can draw 1. Not like they're thinning their estates. They're thinning curses into estates, but those aren't like good cards for the deck. Play advisor. Play advisor. Yeah, so I'm much more about, I think, milling provinces here. And doing it that way. Not really sure. Alright, so with 5, I can get my own Poacher now. It feels bad, but it at least is another draw card. I don't really, and it's something I could potentially advance in a pinch. Discard the advisor, obviously. Okay, so they are able to province here, even. Okay, I think I will lead on the Necromancer. Okay, nice. I found a ton of advisors. Now I can play the advisors. Now I can play the spy. Alright, so I'm definitely going to replace one of these curses here into an estate. That nets me some BP. And I can get a duchy now. I guess that's the best thing to get. The curses in the estate piles are running, so like this game can end somewhat soon. They should have a bunch of draw cards down there because I didn't see very many last turn. I think I denied gold. You can replace gold into province. This also seems like they're running out of time here, although they found a dungeon. So, actually they started with that dungeon. Huh. Yeah, I guess they started with Advisor Necromancer dungeon, which is about we expected because they didn't have a dungeon coming into play. So they hit 6. They're not hitting province here, although I'm not hitting province either, so it's not like I'm significantly far ahead. I never did quite get the stuff that I wanted to get going in terms of animal fairs and everything. Yeah, so maybe the opening that I did was just worse. I wish I could somehow get an animal fair, but I will get a bishop. Bishop worth anything? Sure. I feel like I'm lost now. Yeah, so maybe just the Poacher silver was better for spiking advisor early. Took me 3 trashes with Necromancer to hit an estate, which is maybe about expectation for that. I will. That's all the good stuff. I don't know. Gold is the thing they can replace into province, so that's the thing I want to deny. The decks are getting worse, so they seem like they're going to be less likely to draw here. Although they can just replace province into province and buy whatever. Or replace copper into state and buy. They're far enough ahead. We'll see. It's possible, given the size of these decks, although they don't have any dungeons coming into play next turn, that they can have a dud. I don't have any dungeons coming into play either, so. Advisor, I think, is always a little bit of a swingy card. In terms of, if you reveal 2 advisors and a copper versus advisor 2 coppers, advisor 2 coppers, like, you're very sad. They open Dungeon Poacher. Yeah, I mean, if they don't see the Dungeon or the Poacher on turn 3, the replace ends up missing the shuffle, I think. So that's something to think about. They just got another dungeon. Okay, so Poacher. This is just 9 money. So buy a province. And it doesn't seem like I'm that far behind, but I feel still pretty far behind. That's a good start for me. Yeah, when they hit dungeon, I guess you always play the advisor first because I'm going to give you 2 junk cards, and then you play the dungeon to discard those. If they don't find another advisor here, then it could be that their turn ends early. There's like a world where I can hit province and mill province. It's a small world, uninhabited. But such a world exists, I suppose. I assume they're thinking about some kind of replace curse or like buy duchy type of line. If the game drags out any longer, this bishop seems like it's going to do a little bit of work for me. They could potentially trash stuff, but... Oh, they had a Poacher the whole time. Interesting. Wonder what they were thinking about discarding with that estate. I assume you always discard the estate, so it was like a copper or something. I don't understand that at all, because now I can mill province and win. Milling province there seemed really dangerous for them. Although I did see my replace last turn. I did not, so my replace is still coming up. But I think I have to lead on advisor. Oh, very nice. Okay. So I will lead on and play spy here. Discard that. Didn't quite make anything happen here. Hopefully they don't get to trash a curse. Can I buy an estate? So they can replace... I cannot buy an estate because they can replace copper into a state. Although they saw their replace last turn. So I could bank on them not replacing and winning next turn, or I could just save a copper. And yeah, if they replace copper into a state and then buy a curse, they would win. So I guess I'm just going to save a copper and buys. Decent starting hand and a lot of money, so I could at least like buy a duchy. Golden Province. Okay, so they found it. Good game to them. I guess their opening was better in the end. Not quite sure, but at least I think had a little bit of a chance near the end, depending on the draws. So we move on to game 4.